Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode on Withered Rose. Today we have a special guest for you, No Kings. Hello.
Hello. It's just me. I know there's a bunch of other guys in the band, but if you guys are wondering, I am the singer. My name is Geordy. I am not No Kings, but I am No Kings on all socials because I run them.
So, what got you started in music?
Sure. A tragic accident. No, I was in middle school. I was getting into a bunch of different bands, mainly Green Day, Bad Religion, Offspring's Rise Against, or The Offspring, Rise Against, a lot of punk stuff. And I had put my first choice elective as Spanish, but that class filled up, and my second choice was musical theater class. And so, against my will, I was forced to start doing acting and singing. Turns out I really liked the singing thing. And here we are years later, after years and years of me doing theater and in a bunch of metal bands, metalcore bands. And yeah, that was kind of what started the spark. I mean, other than that, I have a very musical family. My grandfather is like a folk and country musician. My dad's a drummer. My sister is a great singer as well. So it's just kind of a weird blend of the people around me. And again, that kind of chance interaction of being forced into a theater class against my will. I will also never forgive that teacher for making me sing a choral arrangement of Rascal Flatts. I will never forget that, and I will never forgive her.
So, who are your musical influences and how have they shaped your style?
I started off with Green Day and a lot of, again, kind of punk rock. From there, I got into kind of more of the like radio side of metal with Disturbed, Avenged Sevenfold, Bolt for My Valentine, Kill Switch, that kind of stuff. Atreyu was also a really big one for me. And I think, especially with bands like Atreyu, it was cool for me because I don't have a really, really high pitched singing voice. And I started getting into kind of, again, like the post hardcore, metalcore type of stuff, like kind of punk side to metal, as it were. And all those guys at the time were like the Seenie Weenie, like Attack type bands. And they're singing all the way up there. I do not have that kind of voice. So hearing like a Howard from Killswitch or like a Brandon from Atreyu was just so quintessential for me. And that's kind of when I realized I could sing in a band like what I do now. And then from there, I kind of keep compounding my love of a lot of different types of like mainly again rock and metal, but a lot of punk as well. So from there, I got really into like hardcore, like Madball. I still love like a lot of hardcore. Obviously, like metallic hardcore, like Knocked Loose has kind of become one of my favorites. I feel like that really showcases in a lot of our first record in the sense of if you listen to the screams, it's absolutely me trying to pretend I'm Brian Garris from Knocked Loose for a second. On our new stuff, it's wildly different, but on that record in particular, I was really deep into like Devil Wears Prada, Knocked Loose, those kind of sounds. But yeah, so basically after the fact, I go to college, I stopped playing in bands for a bit, but then I start getting really into this band called Mastodon, and that's kind of where everything turned around, right? And from there, I kind of realized I wanted to get back into playing in bands because I'd done that in high school after again kind of finding the singing voice thing, in the sense of again like the Howards and like the Brandons from like Killswitch and Atreyu respectively. And then I got out of college. I started doing a bunch of just creative things. Mainly, it was I was going out and I was doing improv and stand up and like the comedy stuff. And I started playing in like my first like real band in LA, I would say, because I'd moved up here for college. And that was a band called The Crown Remnant, which was very much worship of like Avenged Sevenfold, Atreyu, Killswitch Engage, like everybody I was talking about. So it did come full circle right back to kind of where I started. And so here we are now where like No Kings is very much the idea of trying to combine a bunch of different genres with the foundation of metalcore, like very much more the kind of early to mid 2000s metalcore sound of again what I was talking about with like Killswitch, Atreyu, early Avenged, bands like Escape the Fate at the time too. Just a lot of that stuff that like was slightly before my time, but I was really into because I had a lot of older friends. But it's taking that and then trying to kind of infuse it with a lot of the stuff that I grew up loving outside of that. So it's a lot of emo, it's a lot of punk rock, it's a lot of classic heavy metal kind of stuff, or more maybe thrashy, kind of like Metallica, things like those. But yeah, so it's a long-winded way of saying I started off with punk, then I got into core, then I got into metal. I played in bands, I left bands, then I realized, wait, I actually really like being in bands. And here we are, where this is now me throwing all that into a blender with three of my favorite people. And here we are.
So, what would you consider as your guys' greatest strengths as a
Ooh,
band?
individually or as a band?
All the above.
Okay. Let's see. Individually, I'm pretty good at talking. That's my main thing. I do a lot of that. I sing for a band, and then when they're tuning up or whatever, I got to keep talking. And as it turns out, I'm pretty all right at that. I also just really like talking to people legitimately. Like, I will. My bass player calls it the Geordy goodbye, which is essentially I'll say I'm going to go, and it will take me 20 minutes to leave a place, and it's because I'm saying goodbye to everybody individually, thanking them for coming, making sure they had a good time, and then listening. If they want to say something to me, I need to be there for them, and then I'm going to go up. But I forgot somebody, so I got to wait one more time. That's very much where I'm at. Our guitar player Zach is like a gear genius. He's also super funny, but like that is probably one of his strengths. Is like he will know every kind of amp, every kind of guitar, every kind of rig that you need to know how to set it up, how it's going to connect to the other things, what's going to work well against each other in terms of other instruments, the whole nine. Like he's very just aware, like ear to the ground. Like before I was talking to you, he just texted me like he was thinking of trading in 2 guitars to get other guitars because he thought that they would sound better with our bass player's bass and our other guitar player's guitar. So like that's how he's always thinking. Yeah, exactly. He's always going. And he's constantly moving his gear, trying to find like the perfect sound. Which is funny because then you have me who like I've had the same amp for like 10 years and I'm not trading it. Like I'm just this works. He's gonna do the hard work after the fact, and I'm cool with that. I love that for him. In terms of our bass player, I mean, she is like I guess adaptable would be the word that I would use. If I can't do a live stream, she'll be the one to pick it up. If like let's say I'm sick and we're at a show and I know I'm not gonna be able to hit a high note, I can just tell her like the day of like, hey, I don't think I can hit it. Do you think you can just do that line? And she'll just good to go, 100%. Like if there's something that's not going well on the stage, she's gonna be the person who finds the way to fix it in real time. Like that is it's such a unique strength, and it's hard to kind of quantify or like define, I guess. But it's just she fills in the gaps, you know, and in a way that like I can't. Because again, like even on like our records, I'm an okay bass player. She's a great bass player. I'm a terrible piano player. She's an amazing piano player. I can't sing in an alto register because I am not a woman. She happens to be a woman and is able to sing in an alto register. It's kind of perfect. So I think that is a big strength of hers, is she can kind of do anything, right? And then in terms of Felipe, who is our newest member and actually just played our first show with us about, what is that, 2 months ago now? I think his greatest strength is just his, what's the term? Perseverance. Like the dude has moved countless times to a bunch of new places. He literally just picked up guitar, like touring for guitar on a whim when he was living in, I think it was Minnesota, and just said, I'm going to make this my career now. He has a degree in computer science. He moved to the U.S. from Chile with his wife when they met over in Chile, and then he moved back with her. And then since he's been in the band, he's learned every song flawlessly. He's always trying to contribute. He always has like new little ideas of what to do. You know, we're looking for a new drummer right now, and he's the guy who is like out there trying to talk to people 24/7 outside of me, just like going, trying to find the people, trying to make it work. And it's been great because then like when we're also starting to plan all these runs that we're doing next year, it's really cool to see the guys kind of firing on all cylinders. Like Sid's just like, great, I'm going to get the time off. I'm not even going to think about it. Like I said, adaptable. Felipe's like, hey, I'm going to figure it out. Like no matter what, even if we like lose money on it, whatever, I don't care. Like I'm going to make this the best thing it can be. And Zach's already like, I've got a full scale rig ready to go for every person individualized. Like here's your folders of information, just like ready to go. Yeah, just it's insane. He's a genius. He'll never admit that. I will never admit that to him, but he is a genius. Oh yeah,
we got to make sure he watches this now.
Yeah, we'll see.
So see.
He's a little ADHD too. I'm not gonna lie to you. So we'll see. I know, just like us. I know he's wonderful. We love him. He also can grow a hell of a mustache. It's not really relevant to music. I just think it looks good. And like, I'm gonna be honest with you, his wife is gonna hate that I said that.
She doesn't like it, I assume.
I don't believe so, from the way I've seen her look at him in disgust when he has it. But I don't know. I could be wrong. It could just be because he says some pretty off the cuff stuff. He, again, like I said earlier, he's very funny, but he's a chaotic creature. That's why we like him.
Ooh,
yeah, but then I think our biggest strength as a band is just that like we're kind of willing to be the outliers. Like we don't really wholly fit into anything. Like what I was talking about earlier with like my influences. It's a lot of punk, it's a lot of rock, it's a lot of metal, and it's a lot of the in-betweens. And we don't really kind of fit in anywhere. Like when people ask our genre, I'm always like metalcore-ish. because I don't feel like we wholly fit into that. You know, it's like our basis is very much metal and punk predominantly, but like I wouldn't call us a strictly metalcore band because like on our new stuff, for instance, we have 2 songs that have, you know, no screaming. But then we also have 5 songs that are just straight up ass beaters that will like make you want to go into a pit and beat the hell out of each other. But like the diversity I think is important. And I think that like for us, it's we never like individually it feels like talking to everybody. And I'm gonna speak mainly for myself, but I think it does apply to everybody. We don't feel like we ever fully fit in a lot of different contexts.
Mhm.
And you know, this is don't worry, this is not a world's smallest violin moment. We're good, but it was a thing like I saw at our last show where a lot of people that were towards the back when our set kind of happened, and like there were a couple people came up and it was like it was somebody's first show, which was such a special experience. You know, somebody's telling me how like we really connected with them because of kind of the things we're saying in between. I don't go on like the full scale rants, but when I have like 15 seconds between songs, I'm going to say something funny or something nice. And that really connected with them in the sense of like trying to actually make the show fun while being really honest about what the songs are about and things. And I think our ability to make people feel comfortable and welcome, whether maybe they don't feel like they're 100% like in the scene or like they're dedicated to one genre or one thing, like I think our ability to make somebody feel like, hey, you're still worthy of everything and to be here and be a part of this and like you're still loved is something that I think we kind of uniquely present. Also, I think we write cool songs.
We will see you in the next episode. Bye.